Did the car give up on you guys at any stage?
Because of the heat 2 days ago, the car was boiling. It just couldn't continue in the heat. I tell you what, you've got some of the best mechanics in the world.
Shout out to this mechanic who's managed to fix a car that couldn't be fixed
Exactly.
in 5 different countries. Any interesting experiences in the 12 or 13 countries that you've been to so far? I know the one in Jacobabad tops the list where you had to stop the car and have it shipped, but any other interesting incidents so far?
We've had all sorts of experiences. We had, in Germany, we had snow and we were freezing cold. We had our coats on about 6 degrees below zero. So we've had that experience in the first 2 days. We've had just so many experiences that have happened along the way. We've seen beautiful scenery that we never expected. We've had people that we've never met before stop us in the street and offer their hospitality.
Hello and welcome to a very special edition of the ARY podcast. I'm joined by two very special guests today. Lang and Bev, an Australian couple that is taking on a rather difficult mission in this sweltering heat. They're driving across 17 countries in a car that is only just 100 years old. Lang and Bev, thank you so much for joining us tonight. How are you?
Going very well, thanks Imran,
Thank
and
you.
thank you for talking to us.
It's such a pleasure to have you with us. Not very hot in Pakistan right now, is it?
No, we're in Lahore at the moment. I think it's only 46, which is quite cool after a couple of days ago when we got to 55 degrees. It was just so hot, the hottest day ever recorded in Pakistan, yeah.
We'll talk more about that later on, but I want to know about your time in Pakistan in general. Is this your first time in Pakistan?
No, we've been here 3 times, but always to Karachi, passing through, flying vintage aircraft actually on some other expeditions. But we've never had a chance to have a look at Pakistan fully. And even this time we've missed out a lot, so we will be coming back for sure.
We look forward to hosting you again as well. But tell me more about your time in Pakistan. Have you tried any different types of food? How's the experience been meeting the common man out on the street? I understand you were in Sindh a few days ago. Now you're in Lahore. You've been to Karachi as well. How has it been in Pakistan in general?
Oh, it's been a wonderful experience. We've just had so much generosity. The hospitality has been wonderful, and we just couldn't wish for anything more from the people. Everyone has they call out, "Welcome to Pakistan," and it's just been a great experience meeting the people.
So this expedition of yours, driving in a car that is 100 years old from England all the way to Australia, when exactly did you come up with the idea of undertaking this mission?
Well, we've already known about this 100-year-old journey because it's very famous in Australia. A famous Australian adventurer named Francis Birtles was the first person ever to drive across the world in 1927, and we found out that there was an exact copy of his car in Australia in a museum, and it became available for sale, and we thought, well, we've just got to do this 100 years later. So this 1924 car, it's 100 years old this year. We bought it from the museum, we shipped it to England, and we started off to retrace his first journey across the world 100 years ago.
So 17 countries in total?
17 countries we're looking at. We're up to 12 or 13 at the moment. I've forgotten the total. And we do have a big run through India and down through Malaysia and Singapore to go, and then right across Australia. We've got nearly 5,000 kilometres across Australia alone before we finish, so we've got a long way to go, but we've had nothing but people wanting to see this car, wanting to talk about it, wanting to help us, and particularly in Pakistan, as Bev has just said, The reception has been wonderful, and I tell you what, you've got some of the best mechanics in the world.
I was going to come to that. Did the car give up on you guys at any stage?
Well, because of the heat, 2 days ago, the car was boiling. It just couldn't continue in the heat. And even the modern cars, we had a police escort through Balochistan, and the police car was boiling and couldn't continue, and we put it on a truck and the truck started to boil. It was just impossible for vehicles to continue. But the car itself, 100 years old, always has little problems. And one problem we've carried right across, we had a magneto that had to be repaired, and in 5 countries we had experts and they said no, impossible, has to go back to the factory. And yesterday we had a mechanic come here and he said, I think I can fix this. And he got an old piece of plastic and an old piece off an old car and he joined them all together and put it on. Vroom, away it went first time. Just a miracle worker.
Shout out to this mechanic who's managed to fix a car that couldn't be fixed in
Exactly.
5 different countries. So tell me, who does the driving out of the two of you?
I do nearly all the driving. Bev's a very good driver, but she prefers to sit there. She does the navigation and she does all the administration because I hate paperwork. And of course, if you like paperwork, Pakistan is the place to come to.
So I want to dial back to when you first had the idea. You told us about the car being available at the museum. What does it take to plan a trip of this nature? You're looking at crossing across 17 countries. You're looking at paperwork in 17 different countries, making arrangements to stop over, to refuel. How do you plan such a trip?
Well, you can plan a certain amount. You plan your border crossings and your permissions to cross borders. But with a car like this, you can't plan every day. Because you have a little problem or the weather's bad or we get delayed by classic car people wanting to meet us. So we plan a very short day and suddenly there's a classic car club and they want to take you to lunch or they want to have you for dinner or they want to show you their collection. And because they are so helpful all the way across the world, you really can't plan. So we just, at the end of the day, we'll look up on Google where's a hotel or somewhere to stay and we'll do that. A lot of people don't like travelling like that. They like everything to be planned. But unfortunately with this type of travelling you must be very, very flexible and that's what makes it fun. You never know what's around the corner.
Bev, I want to talk to you about
Yes.
all the administrative elements that go into a trip like this. Are you the same as him? Don't plan way too much, but still keep things under control?
Yes, we've learnt that over the years, that if you plan, it'll never go to the plan, that you must be totally flexible. And especially with using old vehicles, you can never say, oh, okay, I'll be there at a certain time. It's not possible.
Any interesting experiences in the 12 or 13 countries that you've been to so far? I know the one in Jacobabad tops the list where you had to stop the car and have it shipped, but any other interesting incidents so far?
We've had all sorts of experiences. We had, in Germany, we had snow and we were freezing cold. We had our coats on and it was about 6 degrees below zero. So we've had that experience in the first 2 days. We've had just so many experiences that have happened along the way. We've seen beautiful scenery that we never expected. Yeah. We've had people that we've never met before stop us in the street and offer their hospitality. In nearly every country we've had this. It's amazing that in some countries we read in the Western newspapers and you think, oh, that'll be a dangerous country or that'll be somewhere we don't want it to go. In the West we have reports in newspapers and we get a certain idea of how things are. And when we arrive in those countries, we're surprised because the people are often more friendly than they are even in the West. And everywhere we go, it's about the people, really. It's not about the cars, it's not about the scenery, it's not about the country. It's about the people you meet. And you'll find travelling the world, people are the same all over the world. They want to have a happy life, they want to have a nice family, they want to have enough to eat, and they don't want any problems, they don't want government interference, they just want to have a happy life. And it doesn't matter where you are, in which country, when you get to real people in their homes or at the side of the road talking to them, and see their kids and their kids want to hop in the car, you get a really good feeling, and that's what makes this travelling worthwhile.
Wonderful. Bev, this also sounds like a real test of nerves, doesn't it? Like you have to be prepared for so many uncertain factors coming into play. How do you deal with that? How do you deal with the mental side of taking such a long and arduous journey?
Yeah, it's, I guess over the years I've just learnt that you just take things as they come. You don't try, I have had a few sleepless nights thinking about what might happen, but you're so much better off if you can just put that out of your mind and just let things happen and then deal with them. I've learnt that from Lang. That you just deal with the problems as they come and try not to think about what might happen. And if you do that, there seems to always be a solution. Even the worst problem, you can find a solution, and with other people's help, and that's what we've been getting along the way. Just so much help from everybody.
That's a great life lesson as well, Bev.
Yes.
No, thanks for that. I want to talk to the two of you about your passion for cars. Did you catch the bug from him, or did he catch the bug from you?
Oh, no.
Where does it all start?
No, well, I haven't really caught the bug yet. I'm just a happy passenger. I like the fact that Lang is such an adventurous person. And in my younger life, I never had any adventure at all, whereas he has been an adventurer since he was a little boy, all his life. And so when we married, I married adventure, and I was more than happy to join in.
For you, Lang, the passion for cars, the passion for adventure, where does this go back to?
Oh, it goes back to my grandfather, I think.
Yes.
He was an adventurer. My father, he did all sorts of things. And when we were kids, we were always going out camping or travelling and being challenged in many, many ways. And when I got older, 13 or 14 years of old, I had an old army truck we had out in the bush. We used to take all the kids, used to go out, and we used to go hunting, kangaroo shooting, all sorts of anything to do with boats. And then later on I got interested in aeroplanes. I was in the army for 15 years. I was an army pilot, and we went all over the place in the army. Of course, you get posted everywhere. So it's been a continuous thing. And our kids, we've got 2 daughters and 4 grandchildren, and we've brought them up. We've always went camping, we always went travelling with those kids and testing them and challenging them. It's just fun. It's something new all the time.
So it's not just cars, right? It's also planes.
Anything with an engine. It doesn't matter.
So I want to talk about a solo trip that you took from England all the way to Australia. Is that correct? Can you talk to us about that trip?
Well, that was another historic trip. The first person ever to fly an aircraft from England to Australia, solo, that's by himself, was another Australian called Bert Hinkler. And I managed to find a 1927 Aviation aeroplane, exactly the same as Bert Hinkler's aeroplane. And Bev and I restored this aeroplane in Australia, and we shipped it to England. And then I flew this little aeroplane all the way from England to Australia by myself, and Bev was going along in front of me by airline, and she was making sure all the clearances and the permissions and the hotels were already. There was an interesting story when we got to Karachi with this little aeroplane.
Yes, I can add to that because I knew Lang was going to come into Karachi airport, and I'd arrived in Karachi by the commercial airlines, and I was wandering around the airport and there's all these derelict buildings, and I thought, oh, if I climb up those stairs I might know where I am, because I was totally lost. I climbed up and suddenly there was the control tower, and the four people who were in the control tower saw me wandering around, and they beckoned me, and they welcomed me in. I explained why I was there, and when Lang landed, they were the ground crew that gave the instructions of where the aircraft would taxi to, and they gave me the microphone, and I gave him the instructions of where to park his aeroplane at Karachi airport.
That must have been an extremely emotional experience.
Oh, it was funny because when I landed at the runway, and then you change frequency, and then you get onto the ground instructions, and I heard this voice, and I thought, I know that voice. It's a woman's voice saying turn left, turn right. And I found out it was Bev in the control tower in this big international airport.
That's a lovely story. So tell me, what's next for you guys? You go to India, then to Malaysia and Singapore, and then to Australia, but I'm sure you're already planning your next adventure, aren't you?
I don't know about that. We're getting quite a bit older. We thought maybe this might be the last one. I don't know. But no, Lang will never stop. He will never stop.
We have a lot of ideas, and
Yeah, you do.
I think I'll stop when I'm about 150 years old. Yeah.
Touch wood. No, but thank you for joining us. We hope to see you guys again in Pakistan as well. And we wish
Yes.
you a very pleasant journey from here on in. And hopefully on your next adventure, we'll sit down again and talk about this trip.
Thank you very,
Thank
very
you very
much.
much. And I must say
Really.
again, the support we've had here, and the Veteran Classic Car Club of Pakistan have been so wonderful helping us, and all their members along the way. And of course, our great help, Mosa Mikram, he has really helped us along the way here.
Before we end this, you've been to Pakistan thrice, right? Any
Yeah.
Urdu words that you picked up?
No. There's a lot of words that I've said about the car and about the temperature that you probably wouldn't want to hear on the air.
Have a great stay in Pakistan, and see you guys again very soon. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.